main focus is to help people to accept that they are creative and to understand that they can become more creative for all of their lives. I don't define the word creativity. I choose the term creative thinking. To me, creative thinking is the generating of new ideas or new combinations of old ideas in new ways. The term innovation, my working definition, is the improvement of what exists. But I did ask, when you hear the word creativity, what does it mean to you? And like almost everywhere else I've been in the world since I first got involved myself in the 70s, it has to do with art. Or an iPad. Something that stood out way beyond normal. It is something that only a few people truly have the ability to do. It is unfortunately still an understanding that I find everywhere in the world. Now, some cultures, I haven't been in Bali. I've met people from Bali. A fellow I know who's a creativity consultant lives in Bali, does workshops there. They supposedly all paint, draw, sing, dance. I don't know that personally, I've never been there. But that's a stereotype. But does that make them creative? No. They sing, dance, and so forth. It's like me asking a classroom of 5-year-olds, can you sing? Can you dance? Can you draw? And the greatest percentage of them will say yes, excitedly. Now, is all of what they do creative? For them. But is it creative compared to what exists? That's when we get into debatable issues about what does it mean. Cobus Meethling is his name. He started what is called ACHR, which is how they pronounce what we would pronounce acre. It's an acronym for African Creativity Association. He started that several years ago, and he started a conference. We just did the 18th general one. That's a lot of people who have heard us tell stories about what does it mean to be creative. How can you become more creative? What might creativity be to you in various aspects of life? So there's been an impact. In my case, I've worked with a few clients as well in South Africa around the same time I'm there. One being CSIR, but what it is a giant think tank. And I do mean giant. It's bigger than most university campuses. And these are scientists, engineers, technicians of every form of science you can imagine, whose sole job is to solve problems that the government chooses to have them solved. One of them we worked on last year in an ideas session that I ran for a group of them. ATM machine theft is an extreme problem there, to the point where they blow them up to get the money out. Well, as a challenge, I took that on and I facilitated a couple hours sessions with these 12 or so people. And they came up with a variety of ideas ranging from extreme to fairly simple. And some of them I just found out they were actually trying. And one of them was that either the floor would drop out from where they're standing, or a cage would drop down upon them. So you'd at least catch the people standing next to the machine. Teachers are being encouraged to go to sessions and so forth, but the demands of the other aspects of education are so high, like they are in the United States, with this No Child Left Behind philosophy, that creativity seldom lasts for very long. I'll give you a couple examples at the college or technical school level. SMU, which is Singapore Management University, This is a university created by the government to focus on management and marketing. It has an excellent reputation, now has a beautiful new campus that opened only in the last few years. At one time, one professor who was a poet, a friend of mine, was teaching 6 classes of his basic creativity class. Now he comes to it from the art side rather than the problem-solving side. He is an artist, but he also accepts some of what he's learned from those of us who come from the other direction, one of the other directions. And he ran the classes, but then he was basically told how to run them. So he stopped. At the same university, there were so many of those classes that they brought in adjuncts to teach the other classes. They basically all had faded away. People who make the decisions, who have control over the money, want simple solutions. They want simple, measurable, over generically called left-brain solutions. Creative thinking, to teach people to be more fluent, to generate lots of ideas, is a great concept. The trouble is, education is set up to teach you the right answers. Those two concepts can't exist at the same time in most classrooms. Abe Lincoln was only born on a certain date. Well, we're really not 100% sure about that one, because they didn't write them down in those days. Even my mother's real birth date is, that's a lot sooner, was not written down in Scotland. They like to talk about it, but they're not willing to put the effort into it. We're not talking about a quick fix. My whole thing over the last 36 years now has come to a thing that I call spreading creative thinking. And the spread is an acronym of 6 clusters, or in some cases, infinite possible ways. One, we need to support it. The trouble is the support comes and goes. Whether we're talking about a Kodak, or a Polaroid, or an IBM, or even a 3M that's famous for its innovation, the idea of the top management truly being supportive of programs to increase creativity comes and goes. Most of them that I know about anecdotally, some of them I know directly because I interviewed the people. If they lasted 18 months, that was a long time. Are there pockets? Yes. Are there programs? Yes. Are there college degree programs and classes? Far more than ever before. Are they making a significant difference? I don't believe so. But what are in the book, why is it that the Westerners are more creative than the Easterners? I met the author of the book. We had dinner, we had a polite dinner, and then I said, why that title? Because your title doesn't fit what you're claiming. First of all, you generalized Australians and Americans. First of all, there is no general thing called an American. And to lump us in with Australians, you've got to be kidding me. And to lump all Asians as Confucius-based? And I says, well, the title came from the publisher. I said, well, I understand that. But why is it that the East supposedly is less creative? That's such an open-ended question.
Why do you think?
I don't think it's true. And this is why. It is a cultural thing, yes. But when you walk the streets of any country, if you go out where the food courts are, you go out where the stalls are, where the makeshift little shopping centers at the side of the road, 100 miles from any town, you will see more creativity than you will see in most modern shopping malls. It's there. They don't have the resources. The political systems are part of it, the economic systems. I say, I go into Singapore. Singapore is a fairly controlled society, not as controlled as most people think, who have never been there. Extremely focused on succeeding culture. Those who are Singaporeans. If you're not a Singaporean, if you're just a Cambodian working there as a maid, if you're a Vietnamese construction worker, the opportunities of you being successful in a business, beyond a food court stall, dream on. United States, possibility, because of the money's here. Is research that has indicated if all you do is talk, the majority of what you have said will not be remembered. If all you do is show things, more will be remembered, but still not a significant amount. If you let people try it out, get their hands on it, do it. The 2-day program that I had done in Singapore for the last few years is a 2-day program based on one of my books called Broken Crayons, which is subtitled Break Your Crayons and Draw Outside the Lines. It's a basic book about creativity. 1/3 is focused on you and the fact that you are. The second is how to be. The third section of the book is about how do you help other people be creative. Well, the section that starts off with immediately was, what is it about me that would make me creative? And a simple little exercise I developed many years ago based on one of my studies was I have these 32 human traits. Every one of these 32 are the traits of highly creative people, according to some experts. So there's a beginning. You have a trait, you are fluent. Well, not many people mark that in other countries, so they're not sure what that word means. Even in the US, they're not 100% sure what you mean. But another one, you're curious. Highly creative people are curious. They're always trying to learn. They never stop learning. People I've talked to, and I've had over almost 500,000 people respond to that questionnaire one way or another around the world, is I almost never find anyone who doesn't pick at least 5 of the traits. The question is, are they using it? Though it's nice to have a myth about yourself, but the reality is I travel a lot, I've spoken to a lot of people, I tried to get into certain people, but I'm generally labeled as one of the oddballs, the colorful white man named Black, as they call me in South Africa, in that I can't always base everything I say on fact, but I don't need that. I know that if I can help people come up with many ideas instead of only one, they'll be more creative.